Hi fans, and thanks for joining us for this Week 9 edition of the Woodland Hills Football Network pregame show. The Wolverines qualified for the WPIAL Playoffs with a victory at Peters Township a week ago. We're going to sit down with Woodland Hills head coach George Novak to talk about last week's victory over the Indians. We'll also preview this week's game against Penn Hills. All of that and more as the pregame show rolls on right here on WHHS TV. Hi again, fans, and welcome to this Week 9 edition of the Woodland Hills Football Network pregame show. We're now sitting down with Woodland Hills head coach George Novak. Coach Novak, before we talk about this week's regular season finale against Penn Hills, let's take a look back to that victory at Peters Township, a big win that clinched a playoff spot.
You know, Adam, that was a big win for us. Peters Township, they're fighting for a playoff spot, and they played very hard, very tough football, and they do have a good team. The offensive line was good. They had good quarterback, played excellent against us. They had an outstanding running back and a strong defense. It was a tough football game for us. I was real proud of our kids, and we got some tough breaks early, and Peters Township scored first. Fortunately, we blocked the extra point. Tay Broadus did a nice job getting through there and blocking it, and we were able to drive down the field and get a touchdown and the extra point to take the lead. But you know, they played very good defense. They put a lot of guys in the box, so we had to throw the ball. Early in the game, we threw the ball pretty well. Cody had a good night for us. It was just a good football game, and we needed that, and kids got to play. Most of the varsity guys played at least 3 quarters or more so until we got the lead. But it was a battle. I think it was 17-8 at halftime. So, you know, they were in the game, and, you know, I was proud of our kids and the efforts. A lot of big plays, both offensively and defensively.
The Woodland Hills Wolverines are 26 seasons old, and this is the 24th year the Wolverines have made the playoffs. Talk about that accomplishment.
Well, I think, you know, for us, that's always our first goal, to make the playoffs. And I guess traditionally we've started off a little bit slow. Some years we've started out faster, but, you know, over the years we try to get some tough opponents early in our exhibition games, and we still are filling out guys and giving everybody a chance to compete and finding out what guys should play at what positions. And you know, October's been a good month for us once we get everything going, and making the playoffs is a big thing here for us, and you know, that's one of the things we strive for every year.
Looking back at that game, you talk about Cody McClellan having a good game, but it was surprising how well you guys were able to run the football. Both Miles Sanders and Alex Beasley had big nights on the ground. Yeah,
you know, Miles is getting better every game. You know, he was a freshman coming into the year. He turned into a sophomore. We hope by the playoffs he'll be junior caliber, but he had a big game. He had 3 touchdowns. The line was blocking very well for him, and you know, Alex is just a bull. He's one of the leaders. He's the captain of the team. Blocks well, runs the ball well. He's tough to bring down, and he also is one of our leaders on defense. So you know, both of those guys did a nice job, and the offensive line really, I thought, performed well for us. And you know, they're getting better also every week. We have 2 seniors on there, but we got a freshman, a sophomore, and a junior also. So you know, they're getting better, and keep working them. And every week's a new experience for them, because we face different defenses, and you know, it's just, they got to just pick it up. And you know, it's a mental game now as far as picking up things. And a lot of people picking up the stunts and giving the quarterback enough time to throw. So the backs in line are very important in that aspect of it.
Coach, on the defensive side of the football, we have seen some physical play all season long, but that game at Peters Township really seemed like Peters Township was trying to initiate the physicality. Your team stayed disciplined. I
was real proud of the kids. You know, I think Peters Township had 4 or 5 late hits after the whistle, 15-yard personal foul penalties. Our kids did not retaliate. You know, we talked to them before the game because of what happened last year at the basketball game. Our kids were well-mannered, well-behaved, and I was real proud of them.
Coach, we haven't had an opportunity to talk about the kicking game so far this season. Donald Cassidy has been consistent all season long, but you added Jordan Potter a couple of weeks ago, and he's been able to bang a couple of very valuable field goals in the first half, both of which have been over 30 yards.
Donnie's done a nice job. He's worked real hard. Last year he worked hard. He was our backup. He came in this year as our kicker, did a nice job kicking. We used him more with pooch kicks early, and We got about, I think, 4 kicks back on kickoffs early in the season, which really helped us out in games. On extra points, he's done a great job for us. He is a junior, and Jordan Potter come aboard after a few games, and we worked with him for a couple weeks. And he is a senior, and he has a lot stronger leg than Dawn right now. And he could put it in the end zone. I think he put 3 or 4 in the end zone against Peters Township. And that's a definite advantage when somebody has to start on the 20-yard line. So we use him for kicking off most of the time. Sometimes Dawn will come in for a kick if we need a place kick, and also for our field goals, especially our longer field goals, because he has a stronger leg.
Coach, on the other side of the special teams in the return game, you've had a lot of big returns this year. Unfortunately, a lot of them have been called back. But that certainly does build momentum, whether they are called back or not, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's a positive thing when you get a good return. I think we had a couple touchdowns, 3 or 4 called back on either punts or kickoff returns. And that's tough for the guys that have done it. But, it shows that everything's setting up. But, one guy might let up, and, sometimes it's a holding call or usually a holding call or a block in the back. But Coach Whitehorse works very hard with the special teams units, punt team, punt return, kickoff return. This week we faced Penn Hills. We just finished our practice tonight going against their punts. Their punt team is very dangerous because they have a fast kid at punter. He's the quarterback. So he can throw the football, he can run the football, and he can punt the football. So he does the rugby. So it's been a weapon for him all year, and our main thing is to stop them from running the football or throwing the football when they're punting. And then that takes away from your punt return team. But, they're being so dangerous with it, we got to do that.
Clearly that has to be an issue because that was some of their biggest plays against you guys a season ago here at the Wolverina.
Yeah, they have great athletes just like we do. And last year, the fastest player on the field was their punter. And our defense did a great job containing them on their when they were on offense, forcing the punt. And, they had 2 touchdowns from their punt team on fake punts. I don't even think they were initiated fake punts. He just decided to run the football, and he did a great job of it. And they're building on that this year with different formations and things. So. They're tough to cover, and I give him credit. That's a nice weapon when you got a quarterback that can punt, run the football.
Coach, talk about the Indians. What else can we expect from them other than some nifty special teams?
Offensively, they spread you out. They got some great receivers. They throw the ball to. They run the option. It's a wide open offensive attack, and then they do come out in the power set with a couple big guys in the backfield and try to smash mouth football with you. But I think the biggest thing they're going to try to do is to work the perimeter and get the ball to their receivers and their athletes.
Well, Coach, this week it's senior week here at the Wolverina, and obviously a lot of great seniors are playing their last regular season home game. A couple players that come to mind, obviously, Jawan Turner, Jordan Barnes, Cody McClellan, Tom Green, amongst others.
We have 17 seniors that will be playing their last regular season game at the Wolverina here Friday night. So it's a special time when their parents come, and we recognize them for all the hard work and dedication that they gave to the football program.
Obviously, Alex Beasley's another great senior that we can't forget. Khalil Harper, another big contributor to the offense or defense as well.
Yeah, you go on and on. There's, all of them have played very well. They've had a great season so far, and we want to continue that with senior rec. And this is a big game for us. Senior rec. Penn Hills is fighting for a playoff spot to keep their string going. I think they have 14 seasons in a row. They're working towards keeping their string going, and we're fortunate we're already there. But they got something to play for this game, and they don't want it to be their last game. So it's going to be a battle Friday night against Penn Hills.
Well, the Indians have something to play for, but so do you. If you beat Penn Hills, you qualify for a home game in the WPIAL Playoffs.
Yeah, I haven't really looked into it. But top 8 teams get a home field advantage, and that would be a nice benefit in the first round of playoffs to get a home field advantage.
Folks at MSA Sports helped me out with that because I was able to learn that that is the case. Victory does qualify you for a home game no matter what else happens around the WPIAL.
Well, that's a nice added thing. I did talk to the boys about that possibility, so they're aware of it and they know what's on the line. And just playing Penn Hills is a special game because they're very good program, good athletes, and a lot of our guys know their guys. So it's going to be a great football game.
Coach, we haven't talked about Rob Gronkowski very much this year, but he is now in double digits in his career with multiple touchdown games.
He's an unbelievable athlete. I just found out today he has a cereal up in Boston, Gronk Flakes, that they're selling up there. You know, he's a character, but what a great kid and a great athlete. And you know, I'm proud that he came to Woodland Hills his senior year and played for us. And you know, just everything he's done in the pros so far is just unbelievable.
Coach Novak, thanks a lot for your time. Good luck this week against the Indians, and hopefully we'll talk to you next week before a home game here at the Wolverine in the first round of the WPIAL Playoffs. Back with more of the pregame show right after this on the Woodland Hills Football Network.
Over, Jeremy. Stack.
Same thing we win.
More. Right back there. Cheat a little bit. All right?
Again, fans, we thank you for joining us for this Week 9 edition of the Woodland Hills Football Network pregame show. As always, this week's game against Penn Hills can be heard on the radio on AM 1550 WLFP, on the web at woodlandhillsfootballnetwork.com with the stream courtesy of msasports.net. We'll have live cable radio coverage on Verizon Fios Channel 37 and live television coverage on Monroeville Comcast Cable Channels 4 and 13, as well as Penn Hills Comcast Cable Channel 98. And as always, we'll have our video replays on all of our television affiliates. For everybody at Woodland Hills Television, I'm Adam Gusky, and we'll talk to you next week.